10 Review, a program coming to you with the kind compliments of the Regional Democratic Council number 10. I'm your host, Devin Sears. Join me as we take a journey back to 2016 as we focus on developments, investments, and even challenges that the region faced. We had a sit-down conversation with the Regional Democratic Council's chairman, Mr. Rennis Morian, and this is what he had to say.
Good evening, 2017 greetings to residents in Region 10, and by and large every person looking at this program. I'm happy to be here again on behalf of the Regional Democratic Council and people of Region 10 to do first of all in this instance a presentation of works completed in 2016, look at some of our challenges in 2016. Then I want to return and look at the 2017 budget and what we would have planned to do in 2017, some of the challenges, some of the areas that we want to focus on. And we trust that you pay keen attention. And those of us who know to pray, we're requesting you pray for Region 10 and pray for this nation that things continue to get better.
Despite the challenges faced in 2016, the Region number 10 managed to introduce PARA, the first of its kind, which stands for Plan of Action for Regional Development, as part of a 5-year strategy.
In 2016, we were focused on what we call the PARD, the Plan of Action for Regional Development in Region 10. And this is the first region that would have exposed the Regional Democratic Council and by and large civil society towards putting a 5-year plan. It's not the first 5-year plan. Some of you remember under the chairmanship of Mr. Mortimer Mingo, we had a 5-year plan that never went anywhere because the government then did not act on it. But now we have a plan of action for regional development that speaks to a number of things in region. So I want to just share some of the things. One, we're looking at youth and youth development. You will note in collaboration with government and part of government's program that we are pushing education, training in all sorts for young people, etc. But one of the things that Region 10 did enjoy during 2016, we unveiled a program called Youth the Work Readiness Program for young people, where numberless young people were placed in all sectors in Region 10: health, education, business, mechanic shops, engineering, etc. And we are happy to report at this time that the program came to an end December 31st. Many of those young people are placed, some at the University of Guyana School of Agriculture, some have been hired by different agencies, some in Linden, some outside of Linden. And those who aren't placed, we continue to work assiduously with them to place them. Only this past week, some of those very young persons had to go to GRA to have their TIN certificate because they were about to walk into a new environment of work. So as it relates to young people, we are focusing primarily based on the Plan of Action for Regional Development, training, education, and we're pushing to get our young people into agriculture, and again, we're pushing sports.
Agriculture in 2016 played a pivotal role in youth development, employment, and ultimately food security.
Now we recognize that in Region 10, agriculture was never part of the program seriously for young people, apart from the school farms we had more than 20 years ago. Some of you would remember that. So we are hoping to push sports and agriculture as one program. We're hoping to bring youths in to look at sports, but at the same time to do agriculture. Because as you hear me said before, I'm saying it again, we don't enjoy food security in Region 10, but I will share some of that when we look at agriculture. So in 2017, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We're expanding the Youth Work Readiness Program far beyond what we did in 2016 because the program was a success and we recognize our young people are there waiting for jobs, waiting for training. And you need to note that when we came into office, there was a serious crisis as it relates to jobs for young people. Has the crisis passed? I'm saying no, but we are working assiduously to get our young people into jobs, into various areas of employment. And I'm happy that the young people did more than we expected. One of the things they did in 2016 is that they would now join themselves as a group. They have a WhatsApp page. So you just send the information to one person and this information meet all the young persons. Hence, we are working with them, we are talking with them, sharing with them. So in 2017, we will see a much more robust program reaching young people. As it relates to agriculture, coming out of the Plan of Action for Regional Development, again, we recognize that methods have to be changed. When we started here in 2015, we felt the approach is to go out and speak to farming groups, farming people who are farming, support them with agricultural seeds, etc. But I watched the report that the kind of results that we were looking for, those results weren't there. So based on the Plan of Action for Regional Development, we will work in 2017 with about 2 groups that we recognize are getting somewhere. One, a group that I know is headed by Mr. Orrin Gordon, who are doing shaded agriculture. I'm happy in the direction they're going. Hence, we're going to lend support and to give them a boost, because overall we're looking to reduce the volume of foodstuff coming from outside of Region 10 into this region. Our objective is food security here. So as it relates to agriculture, we will work with 1 or 2 or 3, even 3 groups that we recognize are going somewhere. They must be at the end of 2017 success stories that we could replicate for 2018.
Some of the residents here in Region 10, but nevertheless, the regional administration is sparing no time in training and preparing and even educating those for what possibly could be the worst to come.
In the plan, we talk about disaster risk management. Here again, we're in training in Region 10. We've had about 3 training programs as we look at disaster risk management in Region 10. You know, there's never been a disaster risk management program in Region 10. Fortunately for me, I'm one of those persons who was trained through the University of Wisconsin in the areas of disasters. Hence, I always champion and push forward this agenda that there should be this program in Region 10. The government responded nationally, hence from Mr. Chabilal's office, retired Colonel Chabilal, I think I'm calling his title correctly, through his office, this program is reaching all the 10 regions in Ghana. Hence in Region 10, but this is fulfilling what is in our plan of action for regional development.
If you're now tuning in, this is Region 10 Review, a program coming to you with the kind compliments of the Regional Democratic Council number 10. I'm your host, Devin Sears. Much anticipated investments likely for the region in 2017.
When we talk about investment, now in our plan, the plan that we have for development in Region 10, we looked at areas that we could move, and then the government now moving to have this road built to let them falls right in our plan. We are already talking to 3 investors who want to bring a bitumen plant in Region 10. Some of us in Region 10 would remember, I think it's in 2015, that we did make the request from the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, and we had a bitumen plant in Region 10. A number of roads were built very, very quickly, contrary to what we are still having. From the past, we have a lot of roads, over 90% of our roads were in disrepair. We aren't there as yet. There are persons like myself who want to see the whole program scale up, but we are working assiduously to get there. But with the bitumen plant, once these bitumen plant investors get the okay from government, I'm telling you, from the level of the RDC, we're going to bring this to the RDC. They presented it to me. We're going to bring this to the RDC to the next sitting. And I want you to know that once these bitumen plants are in Region 10, roads in Region 10, the building and the maintenance of roads will move much more quickly. I'm asking residents to bear with us and to pray with us and to pray for us that these programs materialize, and these businessmen who want to come in Region 10, the documents, the presentation, meet the requirement of government so we could have these bitumen plants in Region 10. I need to understand, we're talking about jobs. And I'm speaking to 2 of these persons. I'm saying, look, I don't just want to see a bitumen plant. We have the aggregates right here. We have sand, we have stone. Let's talk about the crushing plant. And so we're talking about more jobs. We're talking about reducing the cost of building a road in Region 10, because you don't have to import the bitumen out of Region 10. And if the aggregates are here, costs again will come down. Person building houses, looking for 3/4 stone and other aggregates, they'll be right here, crushed right here. So the investment wouldn't only affect roads, but it will also affect positively those persons who are building roads and in other form of construction. But we just didn't stop there. We are talking to other persons. One guy came in and he wanted to do bottling of water in Region 10. We are looking, not that we are turning down those who are looking for small investment, but we're keeping our eyes on the large investors because we're talking about jobs. But bear this in mind. The person I would like to see, and I'm saying to the investors, 3 of them, one want to put down a stationary plant. I'm happy for that. But I'm also looking at the other person who want to come with a portable plant that could move with the building of the road that we plan to get to let him. That person could move. Now we're talking for job in the area of servicing, the servicing sector, jobs and businesses. We're talking with persons who would have to provide meals. So many things will happen.
As Region Number 10 prepares for transformation, the Regional Democratic Council Number 10 encourages residents to be more optimistic.
So I'm saying to residents in Region 10, it's time for us to be optimistic. It's time for us to confess positive things. Sometimes coming out from our people, the only confession we make are negative things. And these become the reality. I'm saying to us, it's time for us to move to the next level. And even when we are speaking in our household, let us confess positive.
As the necessity for air travel becomes more demanding, Linden is throwing its cards on the table as it is in dialogue with the Public Infrastructure Ministry.
In another area that we are working on and we are pushing, we have had a discussion with the Ministry of Public Infrastructure way back in 2016 concerning the airstrip. For us at the RDC and for many residents, this is very vital, as you note that a number of persons from Region 10 travel to Georgetown and then travel back to the interior locations. And then we did our homework and we recognized that the main airstrip in Georgetown is overcrowded. Hence, opportunity to have a working airstrip in Region 10. I see this as opportune for us here. We would have already sent a concept note, what we want to see in brief, 2 pages, to the Ministry of Public Infrastructure. And we recognize too that the government is in the process of upgrading and maintaining airstrips. So we would like to see the airstrip. We know for sure that Kokwani airstrip will be upgraded, but we want, excuse me, we want the airstrip in Region 10 be part of the agenda for development of airstrips in 2017. This is not just the boast that we have airstrip in this part of Region 10, but we're talking about the infrastructure works that have to be there. We're talking about job creation. We're talking about business in Region 10, things that could happen. Hence, at every level, every opportunity I have, I'm going to raise this matter along with the councillors. We are going to raise, not just me personally, but we from the RDC. We're going to raise this matter of the airstrip in Region 10 because where we are located is the gateway to the other regions. We are boundaried by Essequibo, Demerara River and Burbis River. So we occupy a very strategic location in Guyana. Hence it's pivotal, not just for commerce, but also for security reasons. We need to have the airstrip up and running in Region 10. Hence, we are going to advance this agenda, which is part of our plan of action for regional development, our 5-year plan. We're going to continue to advance these agendas.
Despite the current challenges faced by the Regional Democratic Council number 10, its chairman, Mr. Rennis Morian, commends the government for its efforts.
We continue to work assiduously to support, and these are our challenges, job creation in Region 10. It's a major challenge. Gone are the days when we sit back and wait on government to create jobs. If you follow how the world is going, we're looking to the private sector, we're looking to investors from outside of the region, we're looking to foreign investors. The way to go is investment in Region 10. Hence, we at the RDC, with government support, we have to work hard. These are some of the challenges that have been here for the past 2 and 3 decades. We have to work to remove the roadblocks to development and investment. As I argued at a meeting just a week ago, myself and I think there's the vice chairman, we argued that it's time that some of the roadblocks that we have inherited in this administration, those roadblocks need to be removed. And when somebody wants to invest in Region 10, it must, the shortest possible time must be there. I'm talking about accessing land, I'm talking about accessing GRA compliance, NAS compliance, all of the necessary things needed for investment in Region 10. We argued this at a forum, and I'm saying we would have inherited some unnecessary roadblocks that were there over the past 2 and 3 decades. I'm saying we're in 2017, and we are advancing this argument that we want to see investment in Region 10, and these roadblocks must be removed. I am talking with Mr. Ben, who's doing a tremendous job in terms of getting persons, helping persons get land. There are applications way back from the 90s. There are young people right now looking for land to build homes, open a small business, and every time I speak to Mr. Ben, Yes, I'm aware of the pile of applications. I commend them for the work that they're doing, and I'm encouraging them to continue to work even harder, because we are pushing to have investment go in Region 10. Housing. You heard the minister recently. Again, some of us were old enough to recognize that when we would have prepared a place for housing like Waste Rock, you had water, you had roads, you had drainage in place. And this is along this same line. Persons were sent in the jungle to build a home. So I'm asking us to bear with the administration, pray for us, those who need to pray. Let's work together. This is not a time for division. And this is the enemy want to see Guyanese divided. And I'm happy that we have a Ministry of Social Cohesion. This is a time when people need to come together. This is a time when we need to work together. So in closing, I'm saying to us, this presentation brings to you what we would have done in 2016. And I'm coming back again within a fortnight to share with us where we're going in 2017. And I will also share with you some of our challenges again in 2017. That collectively we could work to see a better Region 10 and a better Guyana. God bless you. Don't quit.
This has brought us to the end of another episode of Region 10 Review, a program that came to you with the kind compliments of the Regional Democratic Council number 10. Remember to head across to Facebook and run a search for Region 10 Review. You can click like on the page, or you can catch up on previous episodes. Until next time, I've been your host, Devin Sears, wishing you a blessed and productive week.